I'm going to have you roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh, here we go. Do well.
I know, I'm using a die that's somewhat reliable. Natural 20.
Yes, let's go, dude. Woo!
For
everything.
a total and straight intelligence, right? This is 23 total.
Okay, that natural 20 is going to get
That's so
you.
perfect, man.
Let's go,
That's
dude.
perfect.
Okay. So, the tragedy of the loss.
Read us the whole fucking book.
Yeah, I'm not going to. It's a big book, so I'm not going to go word for word, but I'll give you this summary and some detailed points. So, the book starts out as there was the city of Primordia. It also details in some of the other cities that were around Primordia at the time that are now engulfed by the waste. But reading through it doesn't seem that these particular, the surrounding cities don't seem to play a huge part and are not focused too much in the narrative.
Got it.
But then the book recounts a time when in Primordia there was a singular temple to the old gods that reached far into the sky, right in the middle of Primordia. It was made of this white marble, and it was said that upon approaching Primordia, you were able to see this temple from miles away, day or night. And it was this sort of beacon to the old gods. You also read that there was nearly constant worship done in this temple. People from all over the world would make this a destination to come to. Even non-religious people would come just to see and to witness this place. It also accounts the city itself, not just the temple, but the city of Primordia, which is described as just as beautiful. Gardens just about everywhere, each building seemingly incorporated into nature itself, and flowers constantly in bloom, food readily available. There seemed to be a very loose system of commerce where there was more than plenty for everyone. So there was no need for stealing. There was no need for, there was no like coveting what your neighbor had because you yourself had access to it. And even systems of money were only existing there as a remnant of the outside world. Beyond the city itself, you read further, and the temple at the center seemed to be a place where the old gods actually visited, physically went, physically appeared in their forms. You could approach Famir, let's say. You could shake Famir's hand.
Let's say.
You could
just for example
have a conversation with a tear. You read that Ilduria was much more distant, didn't come to the temple as often, but all of the old gods regularly made physical appearances there.
Just at that information, I just like stop reading for a moment and like put my face in my hands and like sort of like bend into the spine of the book from where I'm seated, and then just like for a couple moments, and then I'll become aware that it's possible for somebody to be seeing me in this state, and I just get back to reading.
And then you see several different accounts. There seems to be a couple of different sets of notes at this point in the book. You start to get the sense that details are now, in this point in the book, starting to become a little bit more sparse. You see a couple different sets of notes from different people. Seems like stuff that was gathered about this. And you see a couple of different, slightly varying accounts of a small group of people who showed up one day to worship the old gods. And with the natural 20, you find that they all wore red cloaks.
Who did these different accounts?
The group that came one day to worship the old gods.
Okay.
That seems to be a fact that is similar throughout all of the accounts. Is some of the physical descriptions of these people varies in a couple of them, but all of them very distinctly say this group wore red cloaks. You see that there was one of the group that was sort of heralded as not necessarily the leader, but seems to be regarded as a chosen one. Someone a little bit more special than the rest of them, that they all held in a certain regard.
Okay.
This person, in all of the accounts, is regarded to as the Storm. All of the accounts then get into even less detail, and fewer of them are written in the book, as the event of the loss seems to begin. The accounts say that this Storm, who was an individual, one day went to the temple and unleashed a great display of raw magical power that, even in the presence of this magical temple to the old gods that was already imbued with magic, the accounts say that they have never witnessed anything like this. And as the Storm unleashed their power, everything around them began to vaporize and turn to sand. There was nothing that could be done, it seems. You can read that there were a couple of clerics there, to different gods, that tried to band together to destroy the Storm that was destroying the temple, but nothing seemed to work. And for days, even possibly expanding into weeks, this Storm continued to unleash their raw magical power, turning everything miles and miles and miles around into sand. Everything, people, buildings, trees, disintegrated into sand. The book then accounts a group of what is described as adventurers, a group of heroes, was assembled from all the different countries, from Kaldur, Ondel, Genboldir, and even Freywood. And these band of heroes got together and all went into the waste, never to be seen again. But days after they entered the waste stopped expanding. It was assumed within this book, and it is the author's opinion, that the heroes were victorious in completing their mission, although either died in their victory, or dispersed into the wind to live their lives out once more.
Are there descriptions of the physical appearance of any of these, either heroes or of the Storm themselves?
The Storm is described as a young woman.
And what about the heroes? Anything at all?
Yes. So there were two heroes from Genboldir, both elven. There was one hero from Ondale, human. There were 3 from Kaldur, who are all dwarven. And there was one hero from Freywood, and their appearance is described as sort of half animal, half human. It's sort of a vague description. You don't exactly get details, but it does seem that they were like sort of walking the line between some sort of humanoid and a beastly creature.
No drow. Do I know anything about the Freywood in terms of their populace? Because each of these other ones, it seems to reflect where they're from, but I don't. Are they beast-like out there?
Yeah, there's it is truly the wildest of wilds in Freywood.
Yeah.
You know that civilization, if you could even call it that, is very sparse. It's more like individual segmented tribes that very similar to actually the commune in Shadow Timberlands. Yeah, sort of that sort of commune sort of thing, but a lot of the people there do hold nature in such a regard that druidic magic is very popular there.
Okay. Oh, and I just kind of like lean back where I'm seated to just like fall on my back and close my eyes.